making his 38th career start today at quarterback. He'll spin it here on 2nd down and 7, going downfield, and it's intercepted, picked off at the 40-yard line by Collin Wilder, bringing it back into Nebraska territory.
Unlock the coverage.
And picked again. Jumping the route are the Badgers, going the other way. It is Collin Wilder.
Martinez to throw it here, looking downfield, and it's underthrown and intercepted at the 45-yard line. Collin Wilder with his 2nd pick of the day of Martinez.
What's going on, Michael? How you doing?
My man, good. How about you?
I'm good.
Nice. You already work out today?
Yeah, I finished up. Yeah, I finished up probably around like 2:00. So yeah,
nice.
Went and grabbed something to eat real quick, showered.
Just loafing the rest of the day?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I try to bounce around a couple times a week, which I'm starting to do to like, watch film, prep for meetings, NFL meetings, stuff like that. But but for the most part, I work out and I just come back here and just hang out for the day.
Yeah.
So
for something that's like not football related, do you like play Xbox, watch movies or something?
Well, I watch a lot of movies right now. I kind of got away from gaming the last couple of years just because I wanted to spend time with teammates. But now that like I'm kind of by myself and I have like a lot of time on my hands, like it's probably a good. I'll probably get back in the game and keep in touch with the guys.
Yeah. What kind of games you play when you used to play back in the day?
Shoot, whatever the guys played. So it was like 2K, whatever the new Call of Duty was at the time.
Nice.
And then a little bit of Fortnite. That's pretty much the 3 that like the guys play. So I'll probably be hopping back into that here pretty soon.
There you go. Hey, first football question that I got for you is when did you first start playing back in the day?
So I started playing 1st grade. It was just flag football. I didn't start playing tackle till 3rd grade. I don't know how old was I? Maybe 8 years old. 8 when I first started playing tackle. Back in Katy, Texas, and my dad was the head coach. And him and all the other coaches on staff, like the other dads, they were like recording other teams like before we played them. They were scheming up game plan teams. Like it was the real deal. Like we had like probably about 7 different wristbands of like 7 different formations.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was cool. We won championships and stuff, but we took it serious.
That's so sick. So did you always play defense or did you used to play like offense, like like youth football and stuff?
Yeah, and youth football, we ran the wishbone, and like I just grew up faster than a lot of the other kids, so I was just naturally bigger at the time. So it was so I was like the fullback in the wishbone, and then we put like some of our other athletes at quarterback, and then we had 2 other running backs in the backfield, and then I played like outside linebacker.
Nice.
But like it was like a 3-4, and like 4 of our linebackers were literally about 5 yards deep, and we just run and get the ball. But no, I didn't play DB until my freshman year of high school. That was my first time playing safety, so that was a bit of an adjustment.
Nice. Did you play both ways in high school?
I didn't. No. So where I'm from in Katy, Texas, playing in Katy High School. Usually we have so many guys wanting to play in the program, and we have guys who are talented enough to play just one position. So when I was in 8th grade, I remember I met up with my high school head coach, and he asked me what position I wanted to play, and I said receiver, and he was like, "You're gonna play safety." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Word.
So yeah. So yeah, we were like, that was really my first time backpedaling and like breaking and like working on covering a guy. It was like my freshman year of high school.
Was it kind of rough, like getting adjusted to it, or did you pick it up pretty fast?
No, it was pretty rough for a while. I asked my high school head coach in 8th grade, like, what do I have to do to be on varsity as a freshman? I just asked him, what do I have to do? And, I'll put in the work, I'll put in the time. And he gave me opportunities. I was in fall camp with like the older guys my freshman year. And I didn't know what the heck was going on when it came to like, it was more not really like the physical part, just the defensive scheme, like the angles you got to take. Just there's very detailed stuff that like I had no idea like safety was about. So that took me a while to understand. I mean, I made some plays my freshman year. I was able to play a lot, but it was more so just for learning. It wasn't about, oh, this guy's playing and he's the guy. I mean, it was more just put him out there, have him learn, develop, learn from his mistakes, and it was worth it. It was totally worth it after that year.
Now, throughout your whole high school career, I read you were a 3-star recruit, started 64 straight games, which is crazy. But what are some standout memories you have, like, from your entire high school career, or like moments, games, plays?
Oh my gosh. I mean, playing in Texas, playing Texas high school football. I mean, it is as big as people say it is, especially when you go far into the playoffs and you play for, bigger programs. And I mean, it is the real deal. Friday Night Lights. I mean, Katy, Texas is very similar to, what people see in the movie. The town shuts down on game days. I mean, the whole side of, the whole Katy side is filled with red. We're red and white. So I mean, just the best memories were playing, in those type of atmospheres. I mean, I remember, I think in 2015, my senior year, our state championship. I think we played in front of like 43,000 people. I mean, it was, yeah,
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's in high school. I mean, it was so. I mean, just such a cool thing to just experience, but to not only experience that, but like do it with the guys who you grew up with, the guys who you dreamed about playing with and playing at that level with, and you make you make those memories lifelong. So those are probably the coolest, the best memories. The best part of playing in high school was just going far, being successful in the playoffs, because it's fun. It's only fun when you're winning.
Mm-hmm.
So to win those big games and be a part of those big games, and you make those memories with the guys who you grew up with and guys who I still stay in touch with. I mean, that's that type of stuff can't be beat.
Yeah. Did you ever get to play at AT&T Stadium?
Yeah. So I played there 2012, 2013, 2014 for state championships. We won 2012, but we lost 13 and 14. And then 15, the state championship was at NRG Stadium where the Houston Texans play.
Nice.
So they just changed the location that one year. But yeah, I was fortunate to play in AT&T Stadium the last 3 years prior to my senior year. And I mean, that stadium is so cool. I mean, it is literally, when you're playing, I mean, you probably see, like, if you're watching the Cowboys play, you probably see like the guys on the bench, like looking up at the screen. I mean, you can't, like, it's so mesmerized, like you're so mesmerized by it. I mean, it's just so big and right in front of your face. I mean, it's as big as people say it is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then you ultimately committed to University of Houston before you entered the transfer portal and went to Wisconsin. But how was it choosing or committing to Houston? Like, was it an easy decision for you, or did you have a lot of schools that you were choosing between?
I mean, it was tough. It was tough. I mean, I wasn't like I didn't have like 30 offers or anything like that. But part of the recruiting process, though, the more interest you get from schools. I mean, I think I had probably around, like, I don't know, 8 to 10 offers probably. And when you start, and when you're not sure what you want to do yet, you don't want to burn any bridges. You want to keep, like for example, SMU offered me, and I mean, at the time I didn't think about going to visit SMU, but I wanted to keep them. I want to keep them in the loop just in case, like, maybe I would, be interested at some point.
Yeah.
And when you do that for I probably did that for like 6 or 7 schools. Eventually, each coach is, they keep asking you, when are we getting you on a visit? When are we getting you on a visit? And you get that from, 7 different schools. I mean, it can start to get stressful. But then another thing was, for me, I grew up with two guys who I grew up with and was playing football with at the time. They were getting recruited by the same schools that I was getting recruited. So I didn't know for a while if we were going to try to go to the same school together or if we're going to just make our own decisions. I wasn't sure because we were that close.
Mm-hmm.
So for a while, I mean, we went every visit that I went on, all those guys went on too. Like, we all went on the same visits together. So basically, like, whatever at the time, like, I was like, well, what are we going to do? Are we trying to go to the same school or what? I remember sitting them down, and eventually they were like, they weren't really big on that. They kind of want to make their own decision. But for me, it came down to Wisconsin Northwestern, Houston. And what it truly came down to at the time was just playing time, how fast I could see the field, and how much like those coaches truly valued me through the recruiting process. And I mean that was, I mean, in a way, like that was the right decision to make at the time. But at the same time, though, if I could go back, I mean, it doesn't really matter about like coaches showing you the most love, coaches contacting you the most. I mean, if they want you, they offered you. That means that they want you. At that point, it's kind of up to you to see, all right, how am I going to fit in this system? How am I going to fit in this program? And where can I be the most successful? And I mean, Houston was still, I mean, not saying I regret going to Houston, but the way that I did it, it was more off of like which coaches kind of showed me the most attention. And University of Houston, Tom Herman at the time, I mean, great recruiter. That entire staff, I mean, I think we recruited a top 25 class, which was like, almost unheard of for a non-Power 5 school. That was the class where we had Ed Oliver, we had De'Aaron King, Marquez Stevenson, who now plays receiver for the Bills, Braylon Jones, who now plays O-line for the Cowboys. I mean, we had a really good class, and I thought, why not? And all these guys are from the Houston area, so it's like, why not keep these best players in Houston and let's do something different? And I kind of bought into what their pitch and what they were recruiting and how they were recruiting me. And I mean, I don't regret it at all. I don't regret going to Houston at all. I made some great relationships and learned a lot from Coach Herman and in the program.
Yeah. So when you entered the transfer portal after playing 2 seasons at Houston, were you kind of have like your eyes set on Wisconsin? Like, did you keep in contact with them, or was it kind of just like came out the blue?
Yeah. I mean, I remember being at the Hawaii Bowl with Houston, and I was injured at the time. And, there was a lot of stuff going on just within the program, within the culture that didn't really match like my values. And I was kind of sitting there in Hawaii, like, man, I was looking at Wisconsin. They were posting something on social media about like they were at the Orange Bowl at the time. I was like, wow, like I could see myself fitting well at Wisconsin. It was on my mind, but I wasn't thinking about transferring yet. And so Wisconsin was kind of stayed on my mind throughout the process. I mean, that was in December, and I didn't transfer until April. And but by the time April came around, though, Wisconsin was still on my mind. But so at the time, this was before the transfer portal. I had to ask my head coach for my release. Mm-hmm. So once I got my release, it was kind of weird because my head coach at the time, Coach Applewhite, found out that I was looking to go somewhere else, and I wasn't going to break him the news until after spring ball. And he found out before that. So I had to tell him everything. So I didn't even know if any schools were interested in me. I had no idea. So once I got my release, I remember coming back to my townhome in Houston, and I was just like, wow, like, where do I go from here? What happened? Because now I'm not at Houston anymore, and I have no schools that I know of that are interested in me. So that was different. I mean, Wisconsin was still in my mind, but I wasn't in contact with them. Mm-hmm. So I ended up going back to Katy High School during that time, and I was just kind of talking to my high school coaches and telling them my interests, and they said, well, we're going up to Wisconsin for a coaching clinic next week. I said, really? Do you mind like telling them that I'm interested? And because my biggest thing was hitting up the coaches who had recruited me in the past just to see if they're still interested. And thankfully, Wisconsin was one of them. And they said, yeah. Or my Katy coaches were like, yeah, we'll put in a good word and see what happens. So they come back and they said, well, they're interested, but they don't have an offer for you. And I said, well, what if I walked on? And as soon as Wisconsin heard the news that I was willing to walk on, I got a phone call from them pretty quickly. And we scheduled a visit, ended up going on a visit. And by the time I went on the visit, I was looking for a place to live. I kind of knew this was where I wanted to be at. And, I met with Coach Leonard, met with Coach Christ, and I mean, it was a great fit for me, I thought. And yeah, and then I arrived in the summer from there. So it was a weird process, though. I mean, I had Sam Houston and Lamar University. I had scholarship offers from those schools, but that was it. So yeah, it's not like I had a bunch of options to choose from.
Yeah. So ultimately rounded out your career at Wisconsin. You got to tell us, like, what was the atmosphere like on some of those game days? I mean, some of those massive games, they play jump around at the start of the fourth quarter. I mean, that's always a good time. But just like, yeah, what are some great stories from game days you can tell us about?
Yeah. Gosh, I mean, one of the most memorable games for me was in 2019. We played Michigan, and I think Michigan was, I don't know, they were highly ranked at the time. I think both of us were undefeated. I think it was like probably week 5 of the season, and so the game was super hyped up. It might have been College game day, or at least the Big Noon kickoff. It was really hyped up, and we get into Camp Randall, and by the time kickoff started, I mean the stadium was striped red and white around the entire stadium of Camp Randall, and that game we ended up, I don't remember the score, but we ended up dominating Michigan. I mean, playing and hooking on all cylinders, and we were just clicking. It was just one of those games where, I mean, all the momentum was going in your way, and to have that type of game and that type of atmosphere against a team like that, I mean, that was so much fun. So when you have those big games in Camp Randall, and you can take advantage of being at home and make plays and gain momentum. I mean, gosh, controlling 85,000 people is one of the funnest things you can do.
Yeah. So besides games at Camp Randall, what are some of like top 2 or top 3 places that you've played at in your career?
Yeah. I mean, this isn't a home place, but the 2019 Big Ten Championship in Lucas Oil, I mean, that place was wild. I mean, that place was so loud. I mean, being a safety, you have to communicate with your corners almost every play. And I remember, like, there were a couple of drives where I just played without my mouthpiece because I had to try to be as loud as I possibly could. And there were times I would just start screaming and they wouldn't hear me. It's like, well, like, we got to see if we can get through the down because yeah, exactly. So that was pretty crazy. But playing at Ohio State, that was, I mean, we ended up, losing that game, but that was a wild atmosphere to play in. That was probably the loudest, like, away game that I've been a part of was at Ohio State. Playing Notre Dame this year at Soldier Field, that was a great memory. Soldier Field is pretty cool. They got a pretty historical stadium, and getting to play a top program like Notre Dame too, in that atmosphere was pretty electric. Trying to think whether it was a really fun game was playing at Purdue.
Really?
That was awesome. Yeah. So Purdue, it's a smaller stadium. I mean, we're like hitting warmups and rolling out and stretching out, and like right outside of our locker room is like a concrete parking lot. And I mean, it felt like you were kind of back in high school, being in that sort of area. And then once you get onto the field and you go to our benches, well, their student section is probably within 5 feet from you, behind you.
Oh, so they're just chirping the whole
almost
time.
eye level. Yeah. So they're just chirping. And I think that's part of some of the cool parts of college football is like being around student sections and, talking trash. And so that was one of the funner games. I mean, we played really well and that helped a lot, but every time because I think we had like 5 turnovers that game. So every time we came back from making a big play, I mean, we'd just be staring right at their student section, talking trash. And I mean, you could kind of hear them behind us, like on the bench. They were talking trash about our offense. Then our offense would go make a play, and we just kind of just turn around and give them a look. And
that's why I love college football, dude. Like the passion of the fans just make it so much more exciting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fans behind us, the students behind us were like dressed up in different costumes and stuff. Because I mean, I don't know if we were near Halloween or not. We might have been. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the funner places to play too. Was at Purdue.
So what was like, do you have like a set game day routine? I mean, whether it was a home game or away game, did you kind of do like the same stuff throughout the day, whether it was like a morning workout or going early and get treatment or whatnot?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, most guys do have a routine before games. Um, so we're at a hotel, home or away. We're always at a hotel before we get on the bus and head over to the stadium. But we have a routine of whether no matter what time the game is, we wake up at a certain time and we either do like a walkthrough or we do. There's a routine within the team, but after we do that, and we have like our pregame meal. I mean, I usually just drink a smoothie and a cup of coffee before going out there.
Can't go wrong with that.
I can't eat that much before a game. I try to have a couple like Gatorade chews like when I get to the locker room, but no, I mean, once I get on the bus though for us to start going to the stadium, I mean, I usually put in some R&B. I usually play something slow because I just
you're vibing.
I like to keep my mind calm. I don't like to have the the aggressive music is it's the mainstream like hype up music that you probably listen to before games. I'm not really a fan of that. I like to keep my mind pretty calm. And then once I get to the stadium, I change my music to praise and worship music because again, it just kind of helps me stay calm. And then once I get on the field, I take my headphones out just because I like to be in the moment of where I am on the field. I like to hear things around me. And then the routine though, when we go out on the field, I'd stretch, hit whatever I got to do to loosen up different parts of my body. And then once I'm stretched out, me and three or four, sometimes four other safeties will come in and we'll start doing breaks together. And we kind of have our routine of warming up, as DBs and do a couple ball drills. And then by that time, and you go back in and I mean, you're getting dressed and you're getting ready to go. So nothing too crazy. I don't really have anything too crazy about it, but I am consistent, like what I eat, how I stretch, and then how I warm up, and then just the music I listen to before I walk onto the field. I mean, growing up as a kid, I mean, you always saw Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. You love to watch those guys fly around and make plays. Troy Polamalu. As a kid though, I would always look up like the big hitters. Like I remember Taylor Mays from USC. I loved looking up his USC highlights, and Carl Joseph. He's still in the league. I think he might play for Dallas now. Carl Joseph. I would watch his West Virginia highlights all the time. And then now, I mean, I really love watching Budda Baker. I'm glad he's okay, by the way. But I love watching Budda Baker because he's my size. He plays with his style of play is stuff that's like stuff you can't coach. It's effort. It's just finishing plays, playing balls to the wall. I mean, that's the type of stuff that makes you stand out when you don't even need necessarily like a huge physical gift. I mean, obviously he's physically gifted, but he's got so many instincts that you can control from yourself. So, I mean, I love watching him play. I try to model my game after him as much as I can. And, but yeah, he's the real deal.
Yeah, for sure. And it kind of segues in talking about like the NFL a little bit. You're preparing for Wisconsin's pro day and the NFL draft. You're currently recovering from an injury, but how are you getting yourself ready for those days?
Yeah. I mean, I'm fully recovered now. So it was a 6-week deal starting Thanksgiving. So I fully recovered a couple of weeks ago. So I've been able to fully run around. I'm training up kind of near Milwaukee at Next Level with Brad Arnett. I mean, the Watts have trained here before. They train here in the off season. A lot of NFL Badgers have come to train with him. I mean, he's great. He's awesome. I love the work we're putting in right now. I think pro day's March 9th, so I still got about a month and a half. But I mean, it's going great. I mean, it's a lot of physical preparation, a lot of physical details, and the way that you do drills and the way that you have to prepare yourself for that day. I mean, in front of scouts. So I'm excited. I know there's still a lot of work to be put in, a lot of work to do, but I'll be ready.
So for pro days and as a DB or a safety, what kind of drills do they put you through, and how long will the pro day last for you? Like, how long will you be showcasing?
Yeah. So usually from just watching as a player, because the players can go in and I mean anybody can really walk in and just watch pro day. But from watching in the past, I mean, you do your testing stuff first. You do your 40, your 5-10-5, your L drill, your 60-yard shuttle, do your vertical, broad jump, bench. You do all that stuff first, and then you put the cleats on. And I guess, I mean, from what it seems like, they randomly, like you don't know which coach is going to put you through drills. So there's a bunch of NFL coaches there. Some coach from the Giants could just come out and just start putting you through drills. And there's drills that I feel like are pretty consistent of what they put them through every year.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really know exactly what he's going to tell you to do. So you kind of got to be prepared for everything. You just got to be prepared just to be a ball player. But usually DB drills are like back pedal, like W drills. A lot of like back pedal, open up, speed turn, or flip your hips. And then, they'll throw a ball at the end. So just a lot of more just running around ball drills, just seeing how fluent you move. That seems to be the consistent thing that I've seen from the past pro days.
What would you say, since you've been at Wisconsin or even like when you played at Houston or high school, like what's your all-time favorite football drill?
Favorite football drill? I mean, I like anything breaking on a man. Because I feel like because there's different situations where you got to react off of the quarterback. But for me, like my biggest weakness has always been like man coverage, ever since I got to Wisconsin, and being able to just focus on reacting off of a man instead of reacting just off of a ball or reacting off of, just a coach just telling you to go this way. I mean, I love any sort of chance we get to, react off of a receiver sitting their weight, because that's realistic in what you get for man coverage. And to me, I mean, that's the hardest thing you can do is reacting off of a guy who's 2 to 3 yards away from you. So probably just anything like that would be my favorite drill, just because I know that like you can always improve in those situations in man coverage.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, I thought you were going to say Oklahoma's when you started talking. I mean, probably not at Wisconsin because like, you can't be getting guys injured, but like in high school at least or something.
I mean, growing up, we did this drill called the gauntlet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had a runner, and then we had three lines, and then it was like one guy at one level, another guy at the next level, another guy at the next level, and the runner just trying to run through each level. It makes a man out of you. You gotta be able to bow up and be willing to put your face in the fan. So that was my favorite drill growing up. The older I get, the more my body hurts in those situations.
Yeah,
I try to save my body for the games when I can do that, or for practice when I can't take them to the ground. But as a kid, that was definitely my favorite drill.
Did you ever do the sideline drill? We had to do this one called the sideline drill, and it was brutal, dude.
Is it a runner's run down the sideline and you have a tackler come and tackle on the sideline?
Yeah. And sometimes there's two. Like you'll have a guy playing like linebacker, and then if he gets to a certain like level on the sideline, then like a safety comes flying in. Dude, like kids were dying when we were doing that. I mean, I only played in high school. I played youth football, but we did this in youth football. In high school, we didn't really tackle or like do too many hitting drills. It was kind of just like offense over here, defense over here. And but dude, like youth football, like by the end of the season, like it was like 4 broken arms, like 7 concussions. Like kids were just dropping. But good times.
Yeah, that'll do it. Gosh, that'll do it. But yeah, I mean, especially back then, like that's just kind of how the culture of football was, especially as a kid.
That's so sick, though.
That's hilarious.
I mean, it was a lot of fun.
It's something you can look back on and be like, yeah, I remember doing that drill. Like, oh yeah, that made a man out of me.
Exactly, dude. What other sports would you, or like, if you could go back, and obviously like you love football, but what other sports like really intrigued you that like you kind of wish you could have gotten into?
Yeah, that's probably one thing I wish I did back in high school is continue to play other sports in high school. Once I got to 9th grade, I mean, I tried to focus solely on football, and I mean, honestly, it probably made me less of an athlete. I mean, I would encourage, all high schoolers to play more than one sport, because it truly, other sports truly helps you translate into a better athlete, into whatever sport you eventually want to play, you want to focus on. But yeah, I mean, I love basketball, but I mean, I stopped growing in 8th grade, so I mean, all I knew was the post in basketball growing up, and like I wouldn't have been able to play the post in high school. So probably not basketball, but baseball was probably my best sport. Um, I was better at baseball than football, and I stopped playing. And that's probably one thing I kind of wish I could go back and do, is just see what would happen with baseball. And if there was a baseball team in Wisconsin, I would have probably walked on and tried to.
They
see
don't
what
have a
happened.
baseball team?
No, they don't have a baseball team.
That's surprising.
Yeah, it's with the whole Title IX thing. I think they try to have as many men's sports as women's, and like we have wrestling, we have hockey, we have rowing. I mean, there's a lot of different sports in the Midwest. But yeah, we don't have a baseball team, so that's probably the one thing I wish that I would have seen what would have happened. But I mean, I baseball was just really slow for me personally. I mean, you have to really be a patient athlete for a game like that, because the games are just slower. I mean, you might sit in the outfield or wherever for 15, 20 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes, depending on how pitching's going. You don't know. So for me, like, I like what's next right now. Let's adjust and let's make something happen like right now. And baseball is just not that type of sport. So that's why I stopped playing and just started focusing on football. I just love football more. But yeah, baseball would have been one I would try to play a little more.
You ever get into golf? Ever golf at all?
I started golfing a couple of years ago here in Wisconsin with my boys, with my teammates.
That's a good time, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I was terrible. I mean,
I'm dog shit
good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I was terrible starting out. Like I went to the range with them as a joke, and then it started. I started having a couple good shots. Like, oh, that was straight and kind of far. Like, then those shots kind of make you want to come back and see if you can do it again. And then eventually you're like, you know what, let's go play golf. When you're with the guys. So yeah, I started golfing here a couple years ago, and I mean, right now it's too cold out here to do any type of golf. You got to be like in an indoor simulator. But gosh, I can't wait to get back on the links.
Get on the links,
some warm weather.
You guys got some good golf courses up there in Wisconsin?
Yeah. I mean, go anywhere is too nice. I mean, we try to go somewhere where it's at least like at the most $25 for riding 18. We try to go we try to go somewhere so it's not like super super nice. But I mean, even where we went, I mean, the view and I mean the whole like layout, I mean, it was really pretty. I mean, Wisconsin, the summer's beautiful. And so, playing at really any golf course up there, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. And like you said, it's kind of just like obviously playing on like a better course is like maybe more enjoyable, but it's kind of just the experience of going out there with a group of people and just having a good time.
Yeah.
It's such a relaxing like sport. It's not really like, it's not physical at all. So you're kind of just like laid back, listening to music, chilling, talking. And then like every couple minutes, you're just smacking the ball down the course and then drive up there, dude. I love it. I mean, I just got into it a couple years ago, but me and my friends, I live in Virginia, so we go out every now and then. There's a couple decent courses, but the thing is like some of them are expensive, so you got to get like the not nighttime pass, but like the evening pass or whatever. So it's cheaper, but
and then just see how long you can play until the sun goes down, basically.
Yeah. Oh, dude, there were times this past summer we're playing, it's like basically pitch black, and it's like, no, that's my ball. It's like, no, bro, like that one's mine. So you got to mark them up. But on to another question. At Wisconsin, you majored in communication arts, and you're currently getting your master's in educational leadership and policy analysis. What made you choose those routes?
Yeah. So at University of Houston, I was in hotel restaurant management. They had a great program there. They ended up not having that type of program at Wisconsin when I transferred. So I lost like semester of credits, maybe half a semester. No, I lost a whole semester of credits when I transferred. And they basically gave me, here, you can either do ag business or communications to try to keep as many credits as you can. And for me, I was like, well, I don't really know what I want to do yet. So communications kind of gives me a broader, more variety of what I would want to do. So I ended up going the communications route for that, just so I could give myself some sort of variety at the time. And then educational leadership and policy analysis is more so in a route for if you want to do some sort of coaching. And that's eventually what I want to do. I want to be a coach. That's kind of what I figured out in the past, year or two is, just wanted to, I feel like I've experienced so much, within, my college football journey and, just football journey in general. I feel like I've had such great experiences, and I want to be able to offer that to other kids and see if I can help in any sort of way, just based off of my experiences of this whole football journey. So I love the game. I mean, I love football. I can't really see myself without it. Even after I stop playing, whenever that may be, I just feel like I love this game too much to do anything else. So that's why I'm taking that route. I should finish up my master's though this semester. I have like 2 more classes and I'll be done.
Nice, dude. Congratulations on that. That's sick.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate it.
So do you want to be like a head coach or like a specialist coach?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really have. A lot of guys who get into the college coaching world right now. Currently, that's kind of. I would love to go back to Wisconsin and help the program out in any way I can. But I don't really have right now. At least I don't have aspirations to be like a defensive coordinator or a head coach. I mean, it's not really like a goal of mine at the moment. Once I get into that field. So, I've talked to Coach Christ about it. I've talked to Coach Leonard. I've talked to my strength coaches. I mean, it seems like I kind of have the options of getting in the strength staff world. That's a different perspective, which I think is great because you're around the players so much and you get to really develop and build relationships with players year round. And then, we talked about a recruiting side, being, recruiting. And I mean, I could see myself doing that as well. You kind of stay away from the X's and O's of college, but, you still get to develop relationships and still stay involved with heavily involved with the program and who you're bringing in. I think that'd be awesome. And then I thought about position coaching too, and seeing how I can take those steps to be one. So I don't know. I have no idea. Hopefully I have some time. Hopefully I can buy myself some time with playing for a couple of years. So
that's what I'm saying. Hey, yeah, chasing the dream first and foremost, bro. The NFL draft.
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal. I mean, with the NFL, I mean, you can play for 1 year, you can play for 10. I mean, you just don't know. You don't know in that nature of business. But I mean, I just want to play as long as I can.
Yeah. Now, is there obviously like you don't know where you'll end up in the NFL, but if there was one team where you're like, dude, I would love to play for them, what team would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have like I grew up being a Texans fan just because of where I'm from, but I mean, I'm not really attached to too many NFL teams because I want to keep an open mind. I'm kind of prepared to pack up my bags and move whenever I need to. But I mean, I've thought about, I've never lived in Arizona before. I feel like Arizona, Cliff Kingsbury was actually the head coach at Texas Tech when I was committed there in high school. That would be an interesting, situation for me to be in. I think it'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I've seen this, the city of Seattle from watching the games and like seeing the 12th man in Seattle. I think that's sick. I mean, playing for them would be cool. I mean, right now I'm currently in the middle of breaking down NFL defenses to see where I might fit the most. So I'm only 2 teams in right now, but probably in a couple of weeks I'll be able to give you a better answer.
Nice. And last question I got for you, and thank you so much for joining me, Collin. This has been a great episode, but what's some advice that you can give to everyone watching or listening?
I mean, not just with football, but with life. I mean, there's so many obstacles that we all go through in life. There's so many whether it's controllable or uncontrollable circumstances. And for me, I mean, just this football journey for me personally has just revealed of just, keep going, whatever you're doing, just don't stop, stay focused on the goal that you have. And, don't let obstacles, either, they might slow you down, but don't let it get in the way of it taking away your goal. That goes for anything. But for me, this football journey just helped me realize that just perseverance and pushing through the pain, pushing through, the pain of the process of success, and just understanding that there is a process and you have to embrace that process as well through the journey. I mean, it helped me, and it's still helping me to this day because I'm still on this journey, but it's helped me immensely during the ups and downs of this. So I would just, that's what I would tell people. I mean, just keep going, and whatever goals, whatever journey that you're on, I mean, there's going to be obstacles, but just keep going and enjoy the process along the way. And when the times aren't enjoyable, just find a way to keep going and keep pushing through.
I love that mindset, bro. I can't wait to keep supporting you throughout your football journey. But everyone, scroll down below, follow Collin on social media, Instagram at Collin Wilder. Where else can everyone find you? Twitter or any other websites?
Twitter, I think I'm like at Wilder Collin on Twitter. I mean, I have a Grit Factory page that we kind of do that's linked to Wisconsin football. It's called, I think, the Grit Factory _ on Instagram and Twitter. Just kind of just recognizes just gritty moments and pushing through and persevering in life. So, I mean, if people want to get on that too, it's a pretty cool page to look at. So.
Yeah, I'll include all that below in the description. So like I said, go give them a follow on social media, or give Collin a follow on social media. Today, I was joined by safety for Wisconsin football, NFL prospect Collin Wilder. Today's Thursday, January 20th, 2022. This is episode 73 of the Michael Maher Show. I'm your host, Michael Maher, and I'll see you guys next week.